Reading out to this, we are Group M4, and we're now at the Jalan Tun Hatchesley to evaluate the different methods of adaptive reuse to revitalize the Lee Rubber Building. Let's get into it. Many heritage buildings in Kuala Lumpur, particularly along Jalan Tun Hatchesley, have been stripped of their original facade and replaced with more urbanized style due to modernization and gentrification. However, the Lee Rubber Building stands out as a successful example of revitalization and adaptive reuse that respect both its historical value and site context. The Lee Rubber Building was constructed in 1930. The building was designed in the Art Deco style by Arthur Oakley Codman of Booty Edwards and Partners. At the time, it was the tallest building in Kuala Lumpur, with only 4 floors and distinctive grey facade. During World War II, from 1942 to 1945, the building was repurposed as the headquarters of the Japanese Secret Police. Later in 1950, under British control, a 5th floor was added to the structure. In 2003, the well-known Popular Bookstore began to operating in the building, further embedding it to the city urban memory.
By 2015, the building was put up for sales by its owner, the Lee Rubber Group. Despite change in ownership, Kuala Lumpur City Hall, or DBKL, enforced heritage conservation laws that protect the structure from demolition or major alternation. In January 2016, it was sold to JF Land, a Singapore-based company, for 29 million ringgit. After years of careful planning, the Lee Rubber Building was reborn as ELS Kuala Lumpur, a boutique hotel that officially opened to the public on August 11, 2022. The transformation included the addition of new podium and 2 extra floors above the original structure. This project stands as a benchmark for adaptive reuse, balancing heritage conservation with contemporary function in the heart of a rapidly changing city.
Our research focused on the Lee Rubber Building in Kuala Lumpur, a landmark built in the 1930s with a strong Art Deco character. As urban development continued to accelerate, many heritage buildings like this face the risk of being demolished or abandoned, which leads to the loss of our city architectural identity and cultural memory. We chose the issue because the Lee Rubber Building is a successful example of adaptive reuse. It has been transformed into ELS Kuala Lumpur, a boutique hotel that breathed new life into old structure. What's special is that it managed to preserve the historical essence of the building while adapting to modern needs. It shows us how old buildings don't have to be torn down. Instead, they can be reimagined in a way that respects their past and fits into the present.
We are analyzing the transformation of the Lee Rubber Building, a 1930 Art Deco structure, into ELS Kuala Lumpur. In addition to the site visit, we conducted online research to gather historical content, previous ownership records, and references to the building significant within Chinatown. This allowed us to compare its transformation with similar heritage cases in the area. We incorporated feedback from our lecturer, which was crucial in shaping our analytical lens. The lecturer emphasized the importance of balancing heritage authenticity with modern functionality. The guide helped us identify relevant design framework, conservation strategy, and possible guide in our initial analysis.
The adaptive reuse of the Lee Rubber Building in Kuala Lumpur showcases how heritage and modernity can coexist. Adaptive reuse refers to repurposing an existing building for new functions while preserving its historical value. In this case, the 1930s Art Deco style Lee Rubber Building has been transformed into ELS Kuala Lumpur, a boutique hotel, giving it a new life while maintaining its original charm. Heritage conservation ensures that the building's historical significance is preserved. By retaining key Art Deco features such as decorative facades and geometric patterns, the building remains a cultural landmark. This also supports place identity, where the building continues to represent Kuala Lumpur growth in the 20th century, making it a symbol of the city's evolving history. Maintaining architectural authenticity is crucial, as preserving the building's original styles ensures its integrity is not lost during adaptation. Lastly, this project exemplifies urban transformation, reshaping the city's landscape by reusing an old structure to meet modern needs, contributing to sustainable urban growth. Through adaptive reuse, the Lee Rubber Building shows how heritage can be celebrated and integrated into contemporary life.
What is the research about? This research focuses on the adaptive reuse of the Lee Rubber Building, a 1930s Art Deco structure located in the historic core of Kuala Lumpur. We explore how the building was transformed from a commercial space into ELSE Kuala Lumpur, a boutique hotel, while still maintaining its original identity and architectural value. Why is it important? The study is important because many heritage buildings in Malaysia face the risk of demolition or neglect. Adaptive reuse provides a solution that balances preservation, modern function, and urban revitalization. How was it done? We used qualitative methods including site observations, architectural analysis, and comparative study with nearby heritage sites like Kwanti Temple and Sri Maha Mariamman Temple. This helped us understand how different conservation strategies, preservation versus reuse, affect place identity. Now let's move on to what was found. The Lee Rubber Building retained its key architectural elements, facade, structure, materials, while adopting a new hotel function. This reuse helped revive the surrounding street, attract tourism, and strengthen local cultural identity. What does it mean? The findings suggest that adaptive reuse can be a powerful tool to preserve heritage, support sustainability, and reactivate urban spaces, as long as it respects the building's original character.
Heritage buildings are increasingly being transformed for new uses such as hotels, cafes, or galleries. But this transformation often challenges their original identity. This conceptual framework explores two key issues: the loss of historical and symbolic integrity through adaptive reuse, and the fragmentation of urban identity in heritage districts. Many reused buildings retain their facades but lose their interior essence, creating a disconnect from their historic function. Public or semi-public heritage sites are often over-privatized, limiting community engagement. Structural modifications can also erase spatial logic and symbolic features. At a broader level, inconsistent conservation guidelines and gentrification lead to a fragmented and commercialized urban landscape, displacing local culture and disconnecting reuse projects from wider city narratives. To tackle these challenges, we propose integrating interpretive elements using reversible design changes and creating multifunctional zones that invite public interaction. On a district scale, unifying design frameworks, city-wide cultural strategies, and collaboration with local artisans can reinforce a shared urban identity.
For research question, first we ask, how does the Lee Rubber Building historical authentic architectural design contribute to its identity as a heritage landmark in Kuala Lumpur? The answer lies in its Art Deco fascia, symmetrical form, and strategic corner placement, all of which give it a strong visual presence and reflect the commercial and cultural goal of pre-independence Kuala Lumpur. Second, in what ways has adaptive reuse into the ELSE Hotel engage with or interfere with architectural and symbolic identity? While the reuse respect the building exterior and structure, the interior transformation shift its symbolic meaning from a public commercial hub to an exclusive hospitality space. Third, how does the adaptive reuse contribute to the wider urban identity of the Jalan Tun as Lee presents? It revitalizes the area by showing how heritage building can evolve for modern use, adding cultural and economic value while maintaining architectural continuity. Finally, what design principle can guide future adaptive reuse projects? A minimal intervention approach, one that returns original structures, introduce new functions carefully and align with heritage guidelines, can preserve authenticity with supporting modern functionality.
The Lee Rubber Building, Kwanti Temple, and Sri Mahamariamman Temple are three heritage landmarks in Kuala Lumpur, each with a different approach to conservation. The Lee Rubber Building is an example of adaptive reuse. Originally built in the 1930s for commercial purposes, it has been transformed into a boutique hotel. This approach gives the building a new function while maintaining its architectural identity. In contrast, Kwanti Temple and Sri Mahamariamman Temple have been preserved in their original form. Both temples still serve religious communities and retain their traditional appearance, rituals, and cultural value. Preservation helps protect their historical and spiritual roles. Overall, adaptive reuse is useful when a building's function changes over time, while preservation is important for maintaining cultural or religious significance. Both methods are essential for keeping heritage alive in different ways.
In conclusion, adaptive reuse of heritage buildings like the Lee Rubber Building demonstrates how historic structures can be revitalized for new functions while retaining architectural authenticity and cultural value. This balance between preservation and innovation not only supports sustainable urban growth but also enhances place identity.
For future projects, there are three key strategies are recommended. First, use of reversible materials ensure that interventions can be undone and protecting original building elements. Secondly, community-oriented design allows heritage spaces to serve present-day needs while staying relevant to local users. Last and not least, minimal intervention principle help maintain the structure's integrity by focusing only on essential upgrades. These three strategies provide a sensitive yet practical framework for reusing historic buildings in evolving urban landscapes.